The words that everybody dreads. I'm sorry, it's cancer. Back in 2016, those words became a reality for mum of two, Laura Flaherty.
I found out I had cervical cancer after a routine smear picked up abnormal cells, and I was sent for a colposcopy, which then resulted in a diagnosis. I kept thinking, it can't be cancer because I'm not ill. I just fell apart. My first thoughts were for my children, and I just kept saying, sorry. I just kept saying, they're so young, they're not going to remember me. My children were only 6 and 2 at the time. A cancer diagnosis to me just meant death. It was horrible.
After a hysterectomy, Laura was given the all clear. I asked her what that day felt like.
The day I was told it was mixed emotions. I remember sitting in the room and they said, "We got it all, you're cancer free." I remember bouncing around the room and the nurse had to keep sitting me down saying, you need to listen. I just wanted to go and tell someone. I didn't care who, it could have been a stranger. I just wanted to go and say the words, I'm cancer free. I don't think you can describe that feeling of being given your life back. To get a diagnosis and to think that's it. And, there are moments where I thought, this is going to be it. I'm going to die. No one's, my children aren't going to remember me. For somebody to give me that back and say, you are going to see them grow up. I don't think any gift could be better than that.
Today marks the start of Cervical Cancer Prevention Week in the UK. The majority of cases of this kind of cancer can now be prevented, and with better education and more awareness, experts believe that cervical cancer could become a thing of the past.
So we have the potential to dramatically decrease the number of women developing cervical cancer in the UK. Currently 2 women a day lose their lives to cervical cancer. In a sea of quite bad news stories at the moment, the opportunity to consign a cancer to the history books is one that we really need to recognise and for the government to take leadership on.
The Joes Trust vision is to reach a day where cervical cancer is no more. So, how can we each play our part?
This Cervical Cancer Prevention Week, we really want as many women and other people with a cervix to be thinking about having their child vaccinated if they're coming up to that age, or going for cervical screening if they haven't so far, if they've missed an appointment. Worryingly, 1 in 3 women and other people with a cervix, when invited, are not going for their screening. Cervical screening is a really important test. It can save lives.
As research continues and awareness rises, a future without cervical cancer could be on the horizon. Sophie Reaper, GB News.